following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Today's Beyond the Garden Gate takes us to two very different types of gardens. First, we'll visit with George Newman in Bedford, New Hampshire, who walks us through his expansive collection, including an overflowing greenhouse filled with exotic orchids. And we'll even stop by what George jokingly refers to as Fort Newman. Then on to the postage stamp-sized Lucie Beebe garden, just a stone's throw away in Hollis, and lovingly tended to by Diane Rizzo of the Hollis Garden Club. Hello, I'm Linda Temporino. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Garden Gate. Today we're at the, well, not so garden of George Newman here. He is a collector of native plants, flowers, and orchids. And what are these wonderful plants over here?
These are called pitcher plants.
Pitcher plants. So, but tell me about the mountain laurel. You have a tremendous amount of mountain laurel, and that's native?
Some of the mountain laurel is native to the property. It's one of the reasons why I bought this piece of property. Some of the other mountain laurels are special clones. The people find various colors and leaf shapes in the mountain laurel, and they propagate them by tissue culture.
Oh my goodness, that sounds quite a challenge.
I don't do it. Nurseries do it.
Oh, okay. But tell me about that orange azalea back there.
The orange azalea I grew from a seed that I collected in the Smoky Mountains. I collected seeds about 15 years ago, and it took about 12 years to get a nice sized plant out of it. Mm-hmm. The actual species is high into zone 4 or 5, and it's done well here every winter.
Now, do you travel up and down the East Coast collecting plants?
I get my plants from all kinds of sources. Many of my plants I grow from seeds that I get from various societies like the American Rock Garden Society or the New England Wildflower Society, or from nurseries. Other plants I get from people's gardens. Other plants I collect where roads are coming into. And most of my plants I've collected from people's property where there's been damage.
Oh, okay. So, because I mean, you know, you'd have some winters up here, you'd lose a lot of the trees around your property. It's going to change the environment for your plants here.
I have a lot of my trees are pruned.
Uh-huh.
And I have when there's winter damage, there's a lot of work to do.
I bet, yeah. So, okay, well, shall we take a walk into the greenhouse and see what you've got in there?
The greenhouse has about 150 species of orchids.
Oh my goodness.
In the first greenhouse. The majority are native to South America, but there are some Asian ones and a few from Africa.
Okay, good.
My oldest orchid plants are 40 years old.
My, almost as old as I am. Well, George, this is really of the most unusual orchid I've ever seen.
It's called a Dracula, because the flower really looks fierce, and Dracula is a native to Central and South America.
Okay.
There are many species. They're all like a very cool, very humid atmosphere.
Well, it's very dry out here, so let's put that baby back in her bed.
Right. Now, the greenhouse has about 150 species of orchids, mostly native to South America. Some are native to Africa and Asia. Mm-hmm. I should like to mention that I'm an active member of the New Hampshire Orchid Society, which meets monthly, usually in Bedford, New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. And we have a big annual show at the Marriott in Nashua, New Hampshire, every Valentine's Day.
In put Dracula back to bed. Well, we've moved on indoors and out of the breeze, and it's nice and cozy in here and humid. Feels more like August, and outside it feels like September. But what are these orchids here, George? What type of these?
The orchids is a Masdevallia. The Masdevallias are a large group of orchids native from Mexico into South America with hundreds of species. This is Masdevallia ignea, I-G-N-E-A, which has a very bright orange flower. This is a special clone that I bought from a nursery in Connecticut called J&L.
And how long does it stay in bloom?
The actual plant will stay in bloom for at least 10 weeks.
Wow.
Some of the flowers will last on this particular plant for a month. And it keeps on putting successive flowers out. It's not easy to grow because it needs to be very humid with about 60 to 80% humidity.
Yeah.
And it likes to be cool. So during the summer, I have fans running in the greenhouse and 2 humidifiers that put the 6 to 8 gallons an hour out. And I also have under bench misting. So it keeps the whole greenhouse very moist and it cools it down.
So these are not conducive to being in your home because you're not going to have these controlled climates.
If you put this particular plant on your windowsill during the winter, within a month it would probably be dead.
Be dead. So. Well, we've moved out of our sauna. That was very comfortable in there. But tell me about these plants that you have out here. These are nothing like what I saw in the other side, or
many of the plants growing in the tubs near the front are different hibiscus species that are native to the northeast United States. The reason why I'm growing them outdoors in pots was they don't get enough heat in the front. So they need a lot of heat and a lot of water.
Why do they? I've never seen hibiscus grown in water before.
These hibiscus grow in swamps.
Oh, they're like bogs.
These are often where there's 6 or 8 inches of water right below the surface.
Okay.
And most of our eastern magnolias, most of our eastern hibiscus grow in very wet areas.
So, and what is this here?
This plant here is a monkey flower. It's called scarlet monkey flower, and it's native to the Southwest.
Oh.
I've seen it in the Grand Canyon, and I've seen it in several of the other national parks. I grew it from seed that I got from a nursery about 15 years ago.
But you say it grows in the Southwest, but yet you've got it growing in water.
It grows on seeps.
On what?
Seeps.
What is
seep? Is like where you have a canyon wall and water flows out. It's like a spring coming out of the wall.
Oh, okay.
So these, if you see these in the Grand Canyon, you're going where there's a seep, where there's a wet area right in the middle of the desert.
Oh, for goodness sakes, like an oasis.
Now this plant is not hardy, so for the winter, I put it down in the basement. And then I put it in the greenhouse and I put it out here for the summer. It's going to have very nice scarlet colored flowers in a few weeks.
And tell me about this magnificent magnolia that's behind us.
The magnolia is Magnolia macrophylla, meaning large leaf.
And they're huge.
The plant is native from Virginia south. I've seen it on the Mississippi-Louisiana border. Somebody gave me a seedling 35 years ago. I put it out and it grew into this great tree. The flowers will be as big as dinner plates.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We'll have to get a nice picture of that when it's in bloom.
And the plant is surprisingly hardy.
This is the beautiful mountain laurel that George was telling us about. And as you can see, the plants are huge. I mean, I'm 5'6", and these are well over 6 feet. He says they've been here for 35 years. And they did this whole driveway around these gorgeous plants so they wouldn't have to destroy them. They're really beautiful. They are native, and they're just lovely. So, and they grow wild along Route 101 in the spring, well, this time of the year, I guess. So take a ride out there someday. It's really quite beautiful. Well, George, this is a very unusual looking plant. At least I have never seen one up here in New England. What is this?
This plant is called Baumans Root, and it's native basically to the Blue Ridge Mountains and other mountains in North Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. I've seen it growing in Shenandoah National Park, right near Skyland Lodge at 4,000 feet.
Wow.
It's a plant that's often available from nurseries, and it grows best at the edge of a woodland.
Mm-hmm.
We get some protection from the late afternoon sun,
Mm-hmm.
but it likes to have a relatively open area. If you grow in the shade, it doesn't grow as well.
Yeah. It reminds me of jasmine, the flower.
It's actually in the rose family.
Really?
And the plant came here by itself. It was a few feet away, didn't do well, and seeded right into the edge of my driveway. And I have a lot more seedlings coming.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's available from a lot of commercial sources.
And would you spell the name of it again?
B-O-W-M-A-N-S root.
Baumans Root. Lovely. Does it come in any other color?
It's only white.
Only white. Oh.
And it's a pure white, so that's what's so nice about it. It lights up the whole area.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, George. It's been very, very lovely. We enjoyed coming out to your property and seeing all your hard work. Temporino, and today we're out in Hollis, and we are at the Hollis Historical Society with the caretaker of the Beebe Garden, the Lucie Beebe Garden, which is adjoining the Historical Society. This is Diane Rizzo. Thanks for joining us. You're going to be our docent today.
Okay.
We'll walk around and you can point things out to us. How long has this garden been here?
It was established in 1993, which is when they had a dedication. I don't know how long it took them to establish it, but it was an open area full of weeds, apparently, and it was the foundation for an old barn that used to be here.
Oh.
But I've asked a few people, and they don't remember the barn, so it had to have been here a long time ago.
Yeah.
So they put in this garden, which I think is
it's adorable.
Really nice, yeah.
And how long have you been working out here?
Probably close to 7 years.
All by yourself?
Sort of.
Sort of. And
I have a cleanup during the fall when there's a group that comes in and we get everything, cut back. Mm-hmm. And that's finished. But it's something I had wanted to do because I had done the plant sale for like 14 years. And this was in the back of my mind that I wanted to do this garden. And I also understand you do some work over at the Ever-Ready Firehouse as well. I do. There's like an old water pump over there, and there's a barrel, and I do that. And there's a planter that's in front. I do that. And I also do the two on the front here of the porch.
Of the porch. Oh, well. And what is this cute little building behind us here?
This is called the Ice House. And the reason it's called that is because this used to be an inn and a store, and it burnt down, and they needed a store. So from what I've been told, this house became the store.
Oh.
And this was where they stored the ice. So that was the ice house for the store that used to be here. And then after this building got rebuilt, Ruth Wheeler and her husband bought the store and they converted it into a home. And then in 1979, it was bequeathed to the Hollis Historical Society.
Very nice.
So this is always called the Ice House.
Well, here we are at the Ice House, and it's very, very, it's just adorable. You don't know how old this is?
This particular garden?
The
Ice House? I think it's 100 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Because I think it was in the early 1900s that the house was built, and I'm sure that the Ice House was also. Well, the rose behind us, that's a real old rose.
That was here with the house, and I'm assuming it's as old as the house.
Probably, yeah.
Because I think roses last forever.
I'm down looking for a little name tag. I don't think
No.
what's going to happen,
No,
do you?
It's not. No way.
So, call these postage stamp gardens because they're
Oh.
so tiny. It's like down in Newburyport. They have these beautiful little gardens, and I just love their garden tour in June down there. And what did you say was in the ice house now? What is it used for?
Well, right now we're having like an attic treasure sale, so it's full of all kinds of antiques, which we are open on the first and third Saturday for people to come if they want to browse through it. There's a very old piano that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called a flat top or tabletop, baby grand,
Wow.
but it needs some help.
Yeah. Well,
Because it was used at one time for Brownie Scouts.
uh-huh.
And I had heard also that maybe they had used it for a year, I think, as a kindergarten, because Ruth Reeler was a teacher. But I don't know that much else about
Wow,
it, except it
that's
was used
sweet.
as an ice house.
Very
and that was
nice.
probably in the early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
Because this building burned down twice, like in 1908 and in 1912.
Wow. Well, let's get on and check out the flowers. Well, we just did a little tour of the outside of the ice house. Wish we could get inside, but we're back on the bench here. We've had to shift a little bit because the light is changing, but I'd like to see some of the garden now. Well, we might as well start our tour right here while we're in the shade and nice and cool. These are lovely hostas. I love this one. It's like a blue hosta.
They were all kind of given to me. I had a woman that came in and she dug up all of the vinca that was here, and she gave me 5 hosta to put in there. I have no idea what they are.
Our friend has joined us. Cutie kitty. Hey there. What are you doing? Huh? She's got a nice soft coat. So, but I particularly like this one. I think it's the same as the one that's further up on the back. It has that blue tone to it, and it's very
Yes, but I think
quilted.
it's different. I always thought that was kind of like a drinking gourd.
Oh,
I don't know why, but
well,
I
tell
had
me.
a drinking gourd, and that one was like a seed from it. So I assume that's what it was.
Oh, what kind of a tree is this that we're sitting under?
It's some type of flowering apple, but I really don't know the name of it, honestly. But it flowers very pretty every spring.
I'll
It's
bet.
pink.
I'll
and
bet.
Then it gets little things which are kind of like a cherry, but it's just a small.
It's probably some kind of
tiny
a
apple.
crab apple.
Yeah.
New flowering crab apple. Well, let's take a little walk down the aisle here. So, and this is a very pretty little sign you have here. Life began in the garden. And there's a gecko on it. That's very, very cute. So, and you have a stilby.
In the back there, it's called penstemon, and the hummingbirds love that.
The one that's upright there.
Yeah. The one right here with the white
Oh, this one
flowers.
here.
That's penstemon. It's almost finished.
And the hummingbirds like it?
They like it because it has a tube.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
they-
there's no color to attract it.
But I always see them there.
Wow, that's nice, very nice. So, and is this a Stella d'Oro?
I think it is.
Happy Returns?
Don't ask me that.
Okay.
I really don't know. I'm assuming it's Stella d'Oro because it seems that's what's in bloom right now.
Yes.
Right
yeah.
now. And then
So-
next to it, we have Lady's Mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And this plant is Veronica.
Very pretty.
And
I love
it's-
the blue. It's
Yeah.
hard to find blue in the garden.
And it's seeded back there.
Oh, nice.
I like things that spread.
And the yellow and the blue look so good together.
Those are sundrops. And I have to keep them in check. Because
Yeah, they can be
they're
a
very
little bit
happy.
invasive.
Yep.
But I'd like to come over here and take a look at this pretty, pretty red maple tree, Japanese red maple. Well, this is one of my favorite specimens in the garden, a Japanese red maple. Do you know what species, what genus it is?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah,
and
sure.
truthful.
How
I did
bi-
know, but
How big is it going to get?
it's not going to get too big. I was hoping that it would weep a little bit more,
Yeah.
but it's only been in about 1.5 years. We had replaced a jade crabapple because it had fire blight, and we were advised to remove it. And the town came and they pulled it out by the roots, and we put in this to replace it. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. I lost mine a couple of years ago. That winter that it was so extremely cold, I guess this area dropped down into a different zone.
Okay.
And I lost mine, so I had to replace it. They're quite pricey to replace, especially this size. This is a weed, this tall plant.
Some people consider it a weed. I happen to love it. It's in the snapdragon family. It's Mullen.
It's Mullen.
And it's an astringent, so it's very good, you know, if you happen to take a leaf. Supposedly it's helped to control bleeding, and it also makes a wonderful bandage.
I was told years ago, and I don't know if this is true. My husband and I were taking a ride along the Kangamangas Highway, and there was this little visitor center, and there was mullein growing all over the place. And the woman that worked up there told me that in colonial times, they would take the leaves of mullein because they're very soft and they're velvety, and they would line the baby's diapers with it.
I've heard it's also called flannel leaf and bunny's ears.
Bunny's
It
ears.
has other names, yes.
Yeah. So. Okay. This is a very unusual piece down here. Where did that come from? The shed?
It was, yes, it came from the attic treasure sale. I saw it and I adopted it.
Oh my goodness, it weighs a ton.
Yeah, I think it's solid glass.
It's very unusual.
And when the sun hits it, it sort of picks up sort of like a ridge in it.
It almost looks like it's broken on the inside.
It probably is. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's very, very pretty. Well, we have one more little section to cover. Well, we're on our last leg of this lovely little tour, and I noticed that the peonies have started to go by. I cut mine all back yesterday, but I noticed they had seed pods. Have you ever tried to grow peonies from seeds?
I haven't, but I have one that seeds itself, and I've gotten babies from it. It's one of the burgundy ones, and I've been able to give them away. And I didn't realize that they seeded like that.
The reason I asked is because I had two come up in my garden this spring, and I know I didn't plant them because they're just little baby ones, so I dug them up and I put them in a pot. And as soon as I can determine what color they are, then I'll put them in the garden club plant sale. But I guess I'm going to have to wait a couple of years.
It takes quite a few years
to determine what color it is. And that's a pretty little bird bath back there in the corner.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, very pretty.
A very nice little bird sanctuary amongst the roses.
And this, of course, is a knockout.
Oh, it
rose.
is?
Yeah.
Well, it's the prettiest one I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think it's very pretty.
That's a very pretty one.
But it replaced something which was unhappy there. There was a rhododendron in there.
Oh, it's too sunny,
Oh,
probably.
way too sun. So we put
Yeah.
it on the side of the
Yeah.
house, and it's quite happy.
And what kind of a vine is this?
That one is a clematis, and it gets a great big, almost like a lavender flower.
Oh, pretty.
Really, really pretty, but it's not ready yet.
So,
Not yet.
very, very pretty. And tell me about this adorable little lantern.
Well, that sort of arrived here, but it was found at the dump.
At the dump, the famous Hollis dump.
Famous Hollis dump, and there it goes, and it's happy, and it works. I mean, it lights up at night.
Oh, so it's solar.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute is that? Yeah, and what are these pretty little yellow?
Right on the bottom?
Yeah,
It's a type of sedum.
sedum. Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty right now.
Very pretty. It looks lovely with your
Yeah.
yellows in here, with your Stelladoros and all the other yellows. Is that a yellow peony over there as well?
No,
No.
that's a sundrop growing up in the middle of it. Actually, it's a white peony.
Oh, a white one.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's white and there's two pink, and I have to get a burgundy one in there.
Okay.
Maybe I'll dig up one of my seedlings.
Yeah, there you go. So, well, this has been lovely. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? The Kusa Dogwood.
Oh, gosh, that's gorgeous.
Isn't it? They're beautiful this year. And that one in particular, because it has that dark oak tree behind it,
Yeah.
and it just, the white just pops.
But those trees in the back have gotten so big. Unfortunately, when they shed their leaves,
Guess who has to
they
rake
land
them?
in here, and because of the walls, they get trapped. So there's a lot of leaves to rake up in the spring.
Yeah, yeah.
They have gotten huge.
So, but it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, while we're walking over here, don't get distracted if you see a weed. So,
I saw one by that chair.
yeah. So, well, this is a beautiful tree. Beautiful. Kusa Dogwood. It's absolutely exquisite this year. And we have a hydrangea tree over
Yeah.
here.
Which will bloom sometime in August.
So they get really cascadey.
It's very full.
Yeah.
And very, very pretty.
But this is a lovely little birdhouse. And I saw a bird going in and out a couple of times, you know.
We had a lot of babies in that birdhouse.
Oh, did
A
you?
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Probably 2 or 3 a season.
well, you've certainly packed a lot into this lovely little garden.
In 1993, friends and family gathered in back of the Hollis Historical Society to dedicate the restored garden in honor of Lucie Beebe.
And thank you so very much for being our docent of the day.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. And all the folks out there, if you're out in the Hollis area, take a peek. It's right behind the Historical Society. What's the number on Main Street?
It's 20 Main Street.
20 Main Street. So come and enjoy. It's a lovely little view. Bye now.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.